Odyssey Sims just crushed her former team's playoff dreams with 13.6 seconds left on the clock. The woman who got cut by the Sparks just weeks ago came back to Los Angeles and delivered the coldest revenge game you'll ever see. But here's what nobody's talking about. Aaliyah Boston dropped something in her post-game interview that has the entire league on notice. She didn't just dominate with 22 points and a career-high 6 steals. She revealed exactly what's been happening behind closed doors in Indiana. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to miss the biggest story in the WNBA right now. Before we dive into this absolutely wild finish, if you're here for the fever drama, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because what's coming next is going to change everything about this team's playoff run. Picture this scene. 4 guards out with injuries. Caitlin Clark watching from the bench in street clothes for the 17th straight game. Sophie Cunningham done for the year with a torn MCL. Sydney Colson and Aari McDonald both sidelined. The Fever walked into Crypto.com Arena looking more like a hospital ward than a playoff team. They had lost every single game to the Sparks this season. Not 1 win, not 2 losses, but 3 straight defeats. And now they're playing with a lineup that nobody would have predicted even 2 weeks ago. But sometimes the best stories come from the worst situations. Coach Stephanie White knew exactly what she was dealing with. She looked at her depleted roster and didn't see weakness. She saw opportunity. That's when she said something that stuck with everyone in that locker room. Next woman up. 3 simple words that would define everything that happened next. Lexie Hull proved it first. You want to talk about toughness? This woman showed up with 2 black eyes that made her look like she just went 12 rounds in a boxing ring. She got them from a collision with Gabby Williams in the previous game, and when reporters asked her about it, she just laughed it off. Said she tried to cover them with makeup, but eventually just decided to roll with it. Can you imagine playing professional basketball at the highest level while looking through 2 swollen eyes? And she's out there diving for loose balls like nothing happened. The medical staff checked her for everything. Concussion protocol, facial fractures, the whole 9 yards, all clear. So Hull strapped up and went to war. Every screen she fought through, every defensive rotation she made, sent a message to her teammates, no excuses tonight. The Sparks came out swinging too. They jumped to a 31-24 lead in the first quarter, and it looked like history was about to repeat itself. Los Angeles had Indiana's number all season, and with half the Fever roster in street clothes, this was supposed to be their night. But here's where things got interesting. Odyssey Sims wasn't supposed to be the hero of this story. Think about her journey for a second. At 32 years old, she's been around the block. 4 different seasons with the Sparks, including their 2017 finals run. Then bounced around the league, in and out, hardship contracts, getting cut, the whole roller coaster that breaks most players. The Sparks brought her back this season, played 12 games for them, then cut her on July 4th when other players returned from injury, just tossed aside like yesterday's news. A month later, the Fever were desperate. All their point guards were hurt, and they needed someone who could run an offense immediately. No time for practice, no time for chemistry building. They signed Sims on August 10th to a hardship contract, basically telling her, "We need you to save our season even though we can't promise you anything long-term." Most players would just go through the motions in that situation. Not Odyssey Sims. She came out in the second quarter and started picking apart the defense she knew so well. Every play call, every defensive rotation, she'd seen it all before from the other side. The Sparks led 47-44 at halftime, but you could feel the momentum starting to shift. Indiana wasn't going away. They were scrapping for every possession, fighting for every rebound, and slowly wearing down their opponents. The third quarter is where Aaliyah Boston took over. This is what separates good players from great ones. When your team needs someone to step up, when the season is on the line, when you're missing your best player and half your rotation, that's when champions reveal themselves. Boston came out of halftime like she had something to prove. Not with words, but with actions. First possession, she grabbed an offensive rebound and put it back for 2. Next time down, she found Natasha Howard cutting to the basket for an easy layup. Then came the defense. Boston started reading passing lanes like she had the Sparks playbook memorized. 1 steal, 2 steals, 3 steals. By the time the quarter was halfway done, she had completely changed the energy of the game. The Fever went on a 10-2 run to start the third, finally taking their first lead at 50-49 on a Lexie Hull reverse layup. You could see the Sparks getting frustrated. Turnovers started piling up. 22 for the game, which is absolutely killer in a close contest. Every time they tried to build momentum, Boston was there to shut it down. But Los Angeles wouldn't quit either. Kelsey Plum, Azura Stevens, Ray Burrell, and Dearica Hamby combined for 52 points, keeping their team in the fight. The third quarter ended with the Sparks up 58-57, setting up one of the wildest fourth quarters you'll ever see. Here's where the chess match really began. Both coaches knew every possession mattered. The Fever were clinging to their playoff lives, sitting in 6th place but with Seattle breathing down their necks. The Sparks were 2 games behind the 8th seed, knowing a loss here might end their season. You could feel the tension in the arena. Every whistle, every made basket, every defensive stop brought a roar from the crowd. With just under 3 minutes left, Stevens hit a 3-point play to give the Sparks a 70-68 lead. The home crowd exploded. This was their moment. Hamby followed with a cutting layup for a 72-69 advantage. The Fever called timeout, and you could see the concern on their faces. They'd fought so hard to stay in this game, but it looked like it might slip away. That's when Odyssey Sims decided to write her own ending. Coming out of the timeout, she got a clean look from 3 and buried it. 74-74 with 50.8 seconds left. The Sparks bench was right there, the same bench she used to sit on, and she drained it right in front of them. No emotion, no celebration, just pure business. Stevens went to the line with 31.6 seconds remaining. The arena was deafening. She made the first, missed the second, 75-74 Sparks. Indiana grabbed the offensive rebound, the ball swung around to Hull, and she found Sims cutting to the basket. What happened next was poetry. Sims caught the pass in stride, took one dribble, and floated it up with her right hand. The ball hung in the air for what felt like forever. 13.6 seconds on the clock. Swish. 76-75 Fever. The Sparks called their final timeout. Everyone in the building knew where the ball was going. Rickea Jackson caught the inbound, got trapped at the free throw line, and had to pass to Kelsey Plum. But Plum lost the handle, the ball squirted loose, and there was Aaliyah Boston, reading the play perfectly. She grabbed it with 1.9 seconds left, got fouled, and that was game. After the buzzer, reporters surrounded Boston, and that's when she dropped the quote that has everyone talking. She talked about the next woman up mentality, but it was deeper than that. She said what she loved most about this squad was the confidence they instill in each other. The coach instills confidence, that any shot you take, shoot with confidence because we trust you. No matter who comes in, no matter who steps up, we're all just really happy for each other. Think about what that really means. This isn't just coach speak or locker room propaganda. This is a team that has been through absolute hell this season. They've lost their superstar rookie, their veteran guards, key rotation players, and they're still finding ways to win. Boston's message was clear: we don't need sympathy, we don't need excuses, we just need whoever's available to play their hearts out. She backed it up with one of the most complete games of her career. 22 points on efficient shooting, 11 rebounds controlling the glass, 4 assists keeping the ball moving, and those 6 steals that completely changed the game. That steal total was a career high, and it came at the perfect time. Every time the Sparks tried to create separation, Boston was there to shut it down. The bigger picture here is fascinating. Indiana improved to 21-18, moving a half game ahead of Seattle for that crucial 6th seed. They're 3 full games ahead of the Sparks now, who fell to 17-20. With just 5 games left in the regular season, that cushion is massive. The Fever essentially locked themselves into the playoffs while potentially ending Los Angeles' season. But wait, there's more to this story. Let's talk about what's happening with Caitlin Clark. She was there in Los Angeles, sitting on the bench in street clothes. But for the first time in weeks, there's real optimism about her return. She's been participating in shoot-arounds, going through shooting drills, running sets in practice. The groin injury that's kept her out for 17 games might finally be healing. If you're enjoying this breakdown, drop a like right now and comment "Big Fever win" because this team deserves all the support they can get. The timing couldn't be more critical. 5 games left, and every single one matters for playoff positioning. Indiana faces the Valkyries next, a team they haven't beaten yet this season. Then comes Phoenix, Chicago, Washington, and Minnesota to close out the regular season. That's a brutal schedule, especially when you're missing key players. But here's the thing about Clark's potential return. She was averaging 19 points and 8 assists before the injury. She completely transforms how teams have to defend the Fever. With her on the court, Boston gets better looks in the post. Mitchell gets more open threes. The entire offense flows differently. Without her, they've had to grind out games like this one, winning on pure effort and determination. The medical staff is being extremely cautious, and rightfully so. One wrong move, one setback, and the season is over. But if Clark can come back even at 80%, this team becomes dangerous in a different way. They've already proven they can win without her. Imagine what they could do with her back in the lineup. Odyssey Sims summed it up perfectly after the game. She said she's the human definition of, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Every opportunity that's been given to her, she's taken full advantage of it. These are opportunities you can't let slip away. That's not just about basketball, that's about life. When everyone counts you out, when you get cut by your former team, when you're on your third hardship contract of the year, you can either feel sorry for yourself or you can be ready when your number gets called. Sims has scored over 20 points in back-to-back games now. Since joining the Fever, she's averaging 11.4 points, 4 assists, and 2.3 rebounds. Those aren't superstar numbers, but they're exactly what Indiana needs. Steady, reliable, professional. She knows her role and executes it perfectly. The revenge factor made this even sweeter. Sims spent 4 different stints with the Sparks. She was part of their culture, their system, their family. Then they decided she was expendable. Cut her loose when healthier players returned. Business decision, nothing personal, except it's always personal when you get released. She came back to Los Angeles with something to prove, and prove it she did. Coach Stephanie White deserves massive credit too. She's managed this injury crisis brilliantly. Instead of making excuses or lowering expectations, she's empowered every player on the roster. Her post-game comments were telling. She called it a gut check moment and said the team stepped up to the challenge. She highlighted the little things like deflections, offensive rebounds, defensive stops in crucial moments. That's championship-level coaching. The atmosphere in the arena was electric, even without Clark playing. Over 15,000 fans showed up, many hoping to see the rookie sensation. When they realized she wasn't playing, they could have checked out. Instead, they watched one of the best games of the season. That's the power of this Fever team. They've captured something special, something that goes beyond individual stars. Natasha Howard quietly had another strong game with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell struggled shooting, just 5 for 14, but still contributed 12 points and played tough defense. Every player who touched the court made an impact. That's what Next Woman Up really means. It's not just about the stars, it's about everyone being ready to contribute when called upon. The Sparks have to be devastated. They had controlled this matchup all season, winning the first 3 meetings. They were at home, facing a depleted roster with their playoff lives on the line. They led for most of the game, had chances to pull away multiple times, but couldn't close. Those 22 turnovers were absolutely killer. You can't give a desperate team that many extra possessions and expect to win. Looking ahead, this victory changes everything for Indiana's confidence. They've now proven they can beat a team that had their number. They've shown they can win on the road in a hostile environment. Most importantly, they've demonstrated that injuries won't define their season. This is a team that refuses to quit, refuses to make excuses, refuses to accept anything less than their best effort. The Western Conference road trip continues with games against the Valkyries and Mercury. Both will be tough tests, especially without Clark. But after what we just witnessed, who's going to bet against this team? They've got momentum, they've got belief, and they've got players stepping up when it matters most. Aaliyah Boston is playing at an all-star level. She's 5th in the league in efficiency rating and 6th in rebounds. But stats don't tell the whole story. She's become the emotional leader of this team, the player everyone looks to when things get tough. That steal with 1.9 seconds left wasn't luck. It was preparation, anticipation, and the confidence to make the big play when everything's on the line. The league better be paying attention. Yes, the Fever are banged up. Yes, they're missing their biggest star. But they're also learning how to win without her. They're developing chemistry, building character, creating an identity that goes beyond any individual player. When Clark returns, and all signs point to that happening soon, she's coming back to a team that knows how to fight, knows how to close games, knows how to support each other. This is exactly what Indiana needed heading into the final stretch. A statement win, a confidence builder, a reminder that they belong in the playoff conversation. They're not just happy to be there, they're coming to compete, coming to surprise people, coming to make noise. So what did Aaliyah Boston really mean with her post-game comments? She meant that this team has something special that goes beyond talent. They have trust, they have chemistry, they have that unbreakable bond that only comes from fighting through adversity together. Every player believes in the person next to them. Every shot is taken with confidence because the whole team has your back. That's not something you can coach or manufacture. It has to be earned through moments like this. The Fever have 5 games to figure out their final form, 5 games to get healthy, 5 games to lock in their playoff spot, 5 games to send a message to the rest of the league. Based on what we saw in Los Angeles, they're ready for the challenge. The next woman up mentality isn't just a slogan anymore. It's their identity, their strength, their path to something special. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell because the Fever's playoff push is about to get crazy. Comment below with your thoughts on when Caitlin Clark should return. Should they rush her back or keep being cautious? And don't forget to check out the next video on your screen for more WNBA drama. The playoffs are coming, and you won't want to miss a second of it. Peace out.